These are the 3D VIEW-MASTER adventure stories Flipper in Dolphin Love. VIEW-MASTER Reel 1. Picture 1. In the warm, green-gold waters of the Florida Keys, two dolphins swam together as if performing a graceful dance. Above them, a launch skimmed along the surface. In it were Porter Ricks, Chief Ranger of Coral Key Park and Marine Preserve, and his teenage son Sandy. "I wonder where Flipper has been keeping himself the last couple of days," Porter remarked. "It isn't like him to stay away so long." "There's Flipper!" exclaimed Sandy. He had turned on the boat's underwater television equipment and was looking at the screen. They saw the two dolphins swimming under the boat. Suddenly, Sandy grinned. "You know," he said, "I think Flipper's found himself a girlfriend." Picture 2. Meanwhile, someone else had missed Flipper too. It was Sandy's younger brother, Bud, who was Flipper's special friend. He was in his father's skiff, speeding over the waves and calling, "Flipper! Flipper!" Always before, such a call would bring his dolphin Paul quickly, but today, no response. Picture 3. A dejected Bud brought the skiff back to the dock, just as his father and Sandy were climbing out of the lounge. "Something's wrong with Flipper," said Bud. "He just doesn't come any more when I call him." Porter walked to the pickup truck, wondering how to break the news to Bud. The boys followed. "Look, Bud," said Porter. "Flipper does have a life of his own. He has a new friend now." "A dolphin," added Sandy. "A girl dolphin." "Face it, Bud," said his father. "Flipper still likes you, but, well, he'd rather be with her than with you. You'll understand why someday." Picture 4. Just then, a fin broke the water near the dock, and Flipper leaped into view. He jabbered a greeting to them in his high-pitched dolphin language, then dived under again. In an instant up came both Flipper and his dolphin friend. Flipper seemed to enjoy showing her off as they splashed and swam together. "Come, Flipper," called Bud hopefully. But Flipper's girlfriend gave a whistling call and he followed her. They swam rapidly out of sight. Picture 5. In another area of Coral Key Park, a teenage boy and girl in bathing suits surfaced beside a skiff and climbed into it. They removed their diving tanks and regulators. "I've never seen anything more beautiful than that coral down there," said Rita. She glanced at the water, then froze in fear. "Ted, look!" She pointed at two ominous-looking fins gliding through the water near the boat. "Sharks," said Ted. "I'll take care of them." He picked up a spare gun and aimed it. "Ted, wait!" cried Rita. "We're inside the park. You can't use that spear gun." "They're only sharks," said Ted. "Watch this." He fired the spear. "Got him!" Picture 6. Suddenly, one of the fins materialized into a dolphin. It was Flipper. He turned and looked at his girlfriend, who lay in the water with the spear embedded in her side. He leaped toward the boat and chattered angrily at Ted. "Dolphins!" gasped Rita. "We'd better call Ranger Ricks. The dolphin might be saved." "Yeah, and I'll be arrested for spearfishing in the park," objected Ted. "Let's get out of here." While Rita watched disapprovingly, he threw the spear line overboard and started up the engine. The skiff moved swiftly away. Picture 7. Flibber guided his stricken companion slowly toward shore. They moved into the shallows. The female dolphin whined piteously. Flibber swam around her, chattering reassuringly. Then, with a victorious dive, he plunged into deeper water and began swimming rapidly toward the Rick's dog and his human family. VIEW-MASTER Reel 2, Picture 1. Bud was on the dock, repairing his surfboard. As he worked busily away, he heard a yak, yak from the water. It was Flibber, calling to him with an air of urgency. Bud's first reaction was joy at seeing his pal again, but then his hurt feelings swelled into resentment. "Go on back to your girlfriend, Flibber," he said scornfully, turning his back. Flibber was in no mood to be ignored. Swimming closer to Bud, he jumped up and came down broadside, splashing the boy thoroughly. But his lips set grimly, kept on at his work. Flibber, whistling and quaking, did a tail walk on the water. Still ignoring him, Bud picked up his shirt and shoes, put them on and went into the house. Picture 2. In a moment, the Rick's family inside the house heard the clanging of the rough weather bell at the end of the dock. They rushed outside. Flibber, with swift, frantic leaps, was grabbing the bell rope in his teeth. "Something must be wrong," said Sandy. "Sure looks like it," agreed Porter. "Let's go with him." They jumped into the lounge. Picture 3. Porter started roaring away from the dock. Life swam ahead. Turning, he raced into the open water of the lagoon, with Porter and the boys close behind. "We're coming, Flibber," called Bud. Picture 4. Soon Flibber turned and headed toward shore. As they followed, Bud suddenly shouted, "Look, over there!" He pointed. "There's something on the shore. It looks like a dolphin." "It's a dolphin, all right," said Sandy. "And it's Beard. It must be Flibber's friend." Porter anchored the launch close to shore. They jumped out and waded to the insured dolphin. Picture 5. Porter gently pulled the spear from the dolphin's side, then inspected the wound as she looked up at them and whined weakly. "Doesn't look too good," he said grimly. "We've got to get her to the vet right away. Sandy, get the mat from the lounge." Sandy hurried to get the rubber mat. In shallow water near the boat, Flibber watched anxiously, emitting mournful, plaintive squeaks. Sandy threw the mat to Bud, then jumped out of the launch. They laid the mat down beside the dolphin, then carefully eased her onto it. Wrapping her into it snugly, they hoisted her aboard the boat and sped away. Picture 6. In the animal hospital of the Sea Aquarium at Miami, an operating table had been set up in a small tank. Dr. Drew, the veterinarian, worked to repair the wound, while an aide held the dolphin. Porter, Sandy, and Bud watched. "Is she going to live?" asked Bud. "Hard to tell yet, Bud," said Dr. Drew. "We don't know if the spear hit a vital organ. This is about all we can do for her now. The rest is up to her. If she survives the next few hours, she's got a good chance." As Porter and the boys walked back to the launch, they heard a chattering sound. Flibber was waiting for them beside the boat. Picture 7. Bud walked out into the waist-deep water to Flibber. "Flibber, I hope you're not mad at me," he said hesitantly. I acted like a little kid about you and that girl, Dolphin. Dr. Drew said she has a good chance to get well. He reached out and hugged Flibber's head. I promise I'll be a better friend to both of you. Now you stop worrying. VIEW-MASTER Reel 3, Picture 1. Dad, Bud, look! They were speeding homeward in the launch, with Flibber following behind. Sandy pointed excitedly toward the beach, where a water skiing exhibition was in progress. It's the water skiing club tournament, said Sandy. Hey, Bud, look! Ted Maloof's going on next. He's in my class. He won the water skiing event at the school carnival last year. He's using a surfboard instead of skis, said Porter. They're hard to balance on. Picture 2. Just as Ted was working up momentum on the surfboard, Flibber reared out of the water, watching Ted closely. Suddenly, the dolphin with an angry quack streaked toward Ted. As he reached the youth, he made a gigantic leap and splash, forcing Ted to lose his balance and tumble into the water. Porter and the boys watched horrified. Flibber! Called Bud and Sandy in dismay, as the spectators on shore screamed. Flibber began pushing and shoving Ted, herding him toward the lounge. Porter put the boat into shore and anchored it. Rita, Ted's girlfriend, was running toward them calling, Ted, get into the boat! Picture 3. As Flibber hit the water with a big splash, Rita into the launch. She gasped, yeah, then turned angrily to Porter. Open up. He could have killed himself, protested Bud, lowered into the water. Picture 5. Sandy supported the dolphin, which lay listlessly in the water. A short distance away, Flibber chirruped eagerly to her. Maybe she's not well enough yet, said Ted. Sandy gave her an encouraging shove and let go. Her tail flipped feebly, then was still. Picture 6. Flibber's chirrups, squeaks and jacks became louder and more persistent. He swam around her, whistling and clicking. Finally, he reared up and gave a tail-walking exhibition. The female dolphin steered again. Her tail waved, and she moved slowly forward toward Flibber. Then, with increasing speed, she swam to him. She's okay, she made it, exulted Bud. Picture 7. Flibber jacked joyously. The two dolphins swimming together now moved gracefully out toward the sea. Aren't they beautiful, said Ted admiringly. And to think I almost spoiled it all. I'm ready for my punishment, Mr. Riggs. All right, Ted, said Porter. You're an expert swimmer and driver. I think we can use some of your talents in helping around the park. Thanks, Mr. Riggs, said Ted. You're letting me off real easy. He turned to Sandy and Bud. I hope you guys don't hold it against me. I'll be big about it, grinned Sandy. Me too, as long as Flibber's happy, said Bud. He looked out toward the ocean, where two silvery forms were gradually disappearing from sight.